Here we are. It's Christmas time. It's not Christmas time. It's holiday time. We are now getting into the spirit, the festivities, if you will, of the holiday season. And I'm excited. So much so that it's glass of wine night. Lovely.
Thank you.
Lovely. Anyway, here we are, folks. It's Sunday. It's season 5. It's episode 37. I know you're keeping track on your Advent calendar at home. So, Paul, what do you got for us today? So, I got to tell you, I have just been over the moon excited about how well everything has worked out. How far over the moon? Like to Saturn over the moon. We went over the moon, over this. The cocktails of Saturn tonight, folks. I don't know. That's all I got. That is what I came up with. But I will tell you this. It's amazing. Tens and tens of people ask me this all the time. They say, Paul, which is a good way to start because my name is Paul. Paul, how do you, are there still cocktails out there? Like real cocktails? Like when are you going to just start making up stuff? Folks, you have no idea how many great cocktails are out there. And this is one of them. It's a tiki cocktail, which is one of my favorites. I know one of yours. So, it's the Saturn. It's a great one. Come on in. Blue Monkey Quarantini. The only business is apparently Christmas business. Now we got it all. Come on in, folks. I get your Saturn cocktail. I got your Saturn cocktail right here. Here we go. This place is still alive, even after this show. All right. You did it. You got it. All right. Folks, we have new equipment still. It just gets bigger and bigger. Notice I did not use the word better. It just gets bigger. It gets bigger, more complicated. And you know what? Again, for the tens and tens of people that religiously watch our show, because it is a Sunday, so, you know, it's a bit of a holy day on a show.
Is that what we're
I don't know. I'm making up stuff now. Anyway, flashback. 2 weeks ago, about this time, we were wrapping up.
Oh my gosh, was it only 2 weeks ago?
It was just 2 weeks ago. I'm
scarred.
Scarred. But soon enough, she will forget, I will forget, we will all forget, and we will be willing to do another 24-hour cocktail telethon. Now, that's a year away, so don't even worry about it. What I love about the telethon is of many things. One is just how wonderful it went. If the chart was still hanging up right here, because we've cleaned, you would see that it would say almost 55,000. And then, pause. I realized my producer forgot her glass of wine. There. Dog shot.
Oh, look at her.
Oh my gosh, that's worth the donation.
It sure is.
So anyway,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I'm always amazed, one, how well we do every year. So thank you very much. I really am over the moon, and it does lead to the cocktail, the Saturn. But I take no credit for this cocktail. Well, I take no credit for any cocktails. But I normally come up with the idea for the cocktail. But this was an interesting one. I'm going to give you a really quick background story. We went to several locations to film cocktails. You may have remembered. Pause. Oh, sticky spot right there. So anyway, so we went to several.
Those bar backs.
I know. I that's the one thing I don't have is somebody cleaning up all this stuff for me.
Well, not that they
If you're interested, we're hiring. It pays cocktails. Anyway, one of those cocktails that we recorded and then showed during the telethon was Merchant Club. And the Merchant Club is over in the Party Source in Bellevue / Newport. That's a whole other story. But what was really great about it, we met Todd, who's the manager, and we met Amy, who made our cocktail for us. Look at me. I'm remembering the cocktail. It's the Pretty Boy Floyd. Great cocktail. Anyway, she did that for us. And when we did, so just 2 nights ago, I'm making up numbers now. So just this past Wednesday, before Thanksgiving, we do a takeover of the West Side Brewery, and they basically allow us to do a fundraiser. We get a portion of all the beer sales that night. We don't know that number. I can tell you we raised over $1,000 on our raffle. Congratulations, Jim Rad's won. Second year in a row.
Not fair.
Not fair, but fair.
Actually,
I mean,
fair. He paid.
he paid. He bought his
paid.
tickets, you know. And anyway, she came to that and to support us. So we brought a fan in. So then the circle continues. They had their reopening on Friday, Black Friday, just 2 days ago. I knew I'd get to the 2 days eventually. And we stopped in to visit her. Shelby, myself, Jeff, Trish, Chris, Andrew. Look at me remembering names. I think the tumor's disappearing.
I think the alcohol has finally broken it up.
Well, anyway, Jeff said, surprise me. Make me something nice. She actually made the Saturn, and I was unfamiliar with it at the time, but as soon as she said, oh yeah, it's got some history, I planted it in the back of my head, and I sat on it until today. I did my 8 minutes of research. It's a fantastic drink. That's a long way of me saying I'm over the moon, all the way to Saturn. We're still thanking all of you. Now let's, Paul, just make the cocktail. All right. So we are going to make the Saturn. It does have history. It goes back to 1967. So what's really interesting about this, this was tied to the IBA World Championships. The IBA stands for the International Bartenders Association. For my lawyer friends out this is different than the International Bar Association, which I looked up. And the first thing I saw was that they had this legal counsel committee. And I was like, holy crap, I'm going to be on the legal counsel committee for the IBA. But I was in the wrong association. And it only makes sense that the International Bar Association has legal counsel. The International Bartenders Association, not so much. But anyway, the IBA, they actually track cocktails and have for years. They basically break them up into 3 groups, which is really interesting. They have what are called the unforgettables. So these are the classic cocktails like pre-prohibition, prohibition, way back when, the old-fashioned. All these are going to be living there. And then they have these contemporary classics, right? So the contemporary classics are these new cocktails that have come at us, like the 50, what didn't we do the 50 martini, or what was that one?
We did a lot of martinis. What are we talking
The
about?
Paper Plane is a contemporary classic. I was trying to think of some of the new, more contemporary classic cocktails. The Paper Plane, though, is definitely one. And then the other category they have are new era drinks. So these are drinks that are still very popular. So Bee's Knees, I know they put that in there. Anyway, so it's a pretty neat classification process they have. But every year, get to the point, Paul. Well, every year they have a world championship where you can enter a cocktail and win fame and glory and prizes. I don't know what you win. But anyway, enter 1967, Joseph Galsini, a.k.a. Popo. Now, so I learned this. He's Filipino, and in the Filipino culture, as a term of endearment, you would say their first name, part of it, twice. So if your name was Tom, you might be called Tom Tom. So if I was Paul, I'd be Paul Paul or Papa. And he was called Popo. I don't know how it got from Joseph to Popo. I don't know that part, but I know this part of it. That's all I got. Anyway, he immigrated to the U.S. at around 1928, moved to California, and started his trek of bartending, and ended up into this little world of tiki drinks and everything else. And in 1967, he enters this cocktail and wins the world championship with it. For God's sakes, but just make the cocktail. Yeah, I will. I'm gonna make it. That'll be easier. All right, I've cleaned the bar, so I might be missing things, but we're gonna see if this works. That I got it. We got it. We got this. All right. Coming in, a little bit of ice.
I don't know, did you clean the bar? You finally got the bar back to normal and got everything reorganized, so it may be too organized.
It may be too organized at this point. So we are coming in with, so what makes this a very unique gin cocktail, scratch all that. What makes this a unique tiki cocktail is that it's built with gin. There are a few of these out here. This is one of them. I'm going to go with...
I think it's a great choice.
I do too.
Very complex.
It is complex, and you need that
And
spice.
it's got that anise.
It does have that anise flavor. That's what I thought, because this Castle and Key is a great one. You would not, as much as you'd be tempted for this tiki to go with an Old Tom, the reason this cocktail works is because of the spicy dryness. You don't need any more sweet. You wouldn't want this with rum, and the reason is you're going to see we're going to have 2 syrups in this, 3 sort of. So anyway, 1.5 ounces of your gin. Are people bored already? They're like, Jesus,
No.
Paul, this is the longest buildup of you ever. I mean, I admit it.
The comment is that you apparently put Sierra to sleep.
She's not a big, heavy drinker. She's already hit her limit. All right. So, 1.5 ounce of gin. Then you're going to come in with falernum. So falernum is basically, it's a liqueur out of Barbados, and it's going to have like a lime and kind of a spice flavor, and it's kind of a rum syrup. So it's got alcohol in it. And we're going to go with 1/2 ounce. So theoretically it says 1/3 ounce, and I hate 1/3 ounce. So it's going to be a light full ounce is what we're going to do. 1/3 and 1/3. 2/3 if you're keeping track at home. All right. Then you're going to come in with 1/3 ounce of orgeat. Orgeat is an almond syrup. Again, 1/3 ounce, so 2/3 total. These are both. So these 2 syrups that we just used, those mixers, those are classic tiki. You're going to find these in a lot of tikis. Then we're coming in with passion fruit syrup. 1/2 ounce, 1 ounce total. And again, the reason this gin works is it could get really sweet really quick. The last thing we need, gotta wait for the clock. You know, we gotta have a sip of wine. We need some lemon juice. Coming in with, I only have 3 lemon. I am doing pre-prep, so just bear with me, folks. I'll explain this in a split. Oh, that didn't work. That's why I got 3. That's why I'm doing it now. This is a bit of a tricky wicket of a garnish. I'm going to try to get one more just to be safe. Hold on, people. This is, I'm going to explain this all so all makes sense in about one more cocktail. That did not work. I think I can get 2 out of that, though.
Let me go grab another one.
No,
Sure?
yeah,
I can do it.
no, yeah.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, because that's too big. I think I can get 2 out of there. I'm going to make it work. Yeah, I got it. All right. Last thing. Hold on. Almost there, people. This is, sometimes you have to think about your garnish ahead of time, you know? And again, we garnish every drink. We're not animals. Right, Shelby?
Correct. I mean, we have animals.
We have animals,
We
but
sure.
even garnish their food. All right, 1/2 ounce lemon juice, 1 total. Didn't quite get it. makes me happier. All right, so we've got our gin, we got our passion fruit syrup, we've got lemon juice, falernum, orgeat, and then it's the, of course, the shake. Then we're going to ice up, you could do a tiki glass if you wanted to. Little rocks glass is going to work great. And then how lovely does that look?
Pretty.
Right? There's your drink. We're almost there. A few things. Number one, garnish. You know, emergency. Popo loved his emergency. He wrote a book about it. So just a little dash will do you. It is getting to that season where this is becoming a real thing. So, folks, yeah, we'll leave that right there. Emergency, not sponsoring the show. Still. Now, last part. So this is, you'll read a lot of different things about this. And when I say a lot of different things, like two things you'll probably read about this. But one of the things you'll read about it when it comes to the garnish is that a garnish should absolutely be part of the drink. It should help with the flavor, aroma, something. And there's some people that get pretty emphatic about their garnishes. Now, we live in a house, pardon me, a speakeasy, a bar, that we believe in one thing, and that is you garnish every drink. You're not animals, right? So this one has a very unique garnish that some people, it's almost it's very over the top. And it is absolutely critical to do properly. Folks, it's not easy, I'll tell you that. But if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. And that's not the world we live in. I'm going to do them both so that I can really build the suspense. By the way, when you see a bartender lick his own fingers at the bar, it's a sign of a great establishment.
Or that he just pierced himself.
Well, that's possible too. I did not in this case, though. Oh, Shelby, we've done something here.
Have we?
Oh my gosh, yes we have. You ready?
With bated breath, my love. With bated breath.
Oh. All right. So there's one last piece de la resistance of the Saturn, and that is in fact the garnish. Now, some people, what they will do is they will do all the curls, which I attempted to do horribly, but they'll do this, and that is acceptable. Rings of Saturn, however, the original Saturn was done with an entire peel, with it set in the middle. How's that?
Beautiful. I think you need to bring it.
Oh, I'm bringing it in. Don't you worry. Folks, there it is. Oh. It's the rings of Saturn. Oh. Ooh. That's probably a little overboard. Paul, for God's sakes, is it any good? It's a tiki drink, people. By default, it's going to be delicious. But just to prove it. Oh, God, yes. That's a good one, Sheldon. Oh, yes. So that spicy gin comes on the back end. You're going to love this. Here it is. There's enough. It's not overly sweet. Cheers me. Cheers. All right. Give that a try. So,
that's delicious.
Is that not amazing? So you get the sweet, a little bit of sweetness, but not like overly sweet. You would think, again, with, you know, a fruit syrup and then the orgeat and then the falernum, that it would be overly sweet. But that gin cuts it. And it's not overly tart even with the lemon. So it just mellows out. That is a great classic tiki cocktail. Now, a few things about this cocktail, and then we'll be finished. One, originally, so this is named after the Saturn V. Story has it Popo originally named it the X15 because this is, so the Saturn V and the X15 both came out in around 65, 67. The problem was the X15 crashed and there were several people that were killed. So he did not want to associate his cocktail with that. So he changed it, and that's when it became the Saturn, and what we have here named after the Saturn V. The other thing is Popo was no newcomer to the cocktail scene. He actually won the IBA Cocktail World Championship in 1953 and in 1954. Now, here's the thing. This cocktail never really made it. It didn't become popular until one Beach Bum Berry, Shelby.
Ooh.
You know who I'm talking about.
We were in his bar.
And actually, he, through another gentleman, another Filipino bartender, that was helping Beach Bum Berry set up one of his bars and was telling him about this drink, and Beach Bum Berry revived it and put it on his menu. And I believe you can now get the Saturn at the Beach Bum Berry. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it is.
Now, last part about this drink. Blended or shaken? Now, you already know what I will tell you, but the story goes like this. Originally, this was a blended drink, but it was not as big of a hit. When it was revived and it started to make a comeback, everybody started making it as a shaken drink, and it's done much better. So it is now customary that this is shaken, not blended. So thank you for that, Beach Bum Berry, because I'm no blender kind of guy. But anyway, there's your cocktails. Over the moon, but we got you the Saturn. So again, everybody out there, cheers. Hold on. Oh my God, that's good. That's a new favorite. Is it up on the list? We need to start a chart.
It'd be hard.
It'd be difficult. You know what? Next year, starting in January. All right. Anyway, folks, we're out of here. Cheers. I love you all. We'll see you next Sunday, I think.
Why wouldn't we?
Why wouldn't we? We'll be here. Any requests, let me know. If not, I'll just, I'll find something. I take 8 minutes of special time for all of you. Anyway, folks, cheers. Love you. We're out. See you next Sunday. Oh, and thank you.